So, to your first question on normalization, I think we've been very, very clear over the last year and over the last many months, and most clear was the statement by the Crown Prince that for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, normalization with Israel can only come through the establishment of a Palestinian state. That position remains the same, and it is based on a strong conviction that only through the establishment of a Palestinian state and only through addressing the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people to self-determination can we have sustainable peace and real integration in the region. So we continue to have that position. We continue to call for moving in that direction. And I think our hope through this conference and other initiatives where it has become clear that international consensus is very much in line with that belief, that can be a catalyst for a real conversation about peace in the region and can actually accelerate the process towards regional integration. But again, that is contingent on achieving a Palestinian state. I would echo on the second question what my colleague, the Foreign Minister of France, has said. The US is an essential actor, and is certainly an essential actor in what concerns peace in the Middle East. And President Trump has, in fact, had success already in this regard. He was able to facilitate the first and only ceasefire so far in this conflict. And obviously, his personal engagement and his role is immensely important. And I think we've all heard President Trump's statement in many occasions that he is a man of peace, that he is someone who abhors war, and he is a humanitarian. And I am firmly in the belief that US engagement, and especially the engagement of President Trump, can be a catalyst for an end to the immediate crisis in Gaza and potentially a resolution of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict in the long term. So obviously, we as strong partners of the United States continue to work closely with the US on many issues, and we hope that the US will continue to lead in the efforts for peace. And as I said, we have tremendous respect and faith in President Trump's not just belief and hope in peace, but in his ability to deliver on that hopes.
Thank you. Claire Gatinois for Le Monde, please.
Cette conférence, une première.
Thank you. My first question for the minister, Mr. Barrot. So France had clarified its stance when it comes to the recognition of Palestine. Do you already have any signs from other states? Perhaps France won't be alone in this approach in September. Another question for the Saudi minister, similar to those of my colleagues. Could you imagine a relaunch of the Abraham Accords recognition for Palestine? Would that be a prerequisite for normalizing relations with Israel? And lastly, we've heard a great deal this morning about the conditions set forth regarding recognizing Palestine and demilitarizing Hamas. Do you support this requirement as well?
Je peux peut-être commencer pour.
I will begin by addressing your question. Right. So, the President of the Republic has made the decision to announce the recognition by France of the State of Palestine, which would take place formally in September on the silence of the General Assembly. And that is because we could not wait any longer. This solution, which, as I said before, is the only possible solution to ensure peace and security of Israelis and Palestinians and the entire region, as well as beyond, in the Mediterranean and in the world, to a certain extent. And therefore, this has to be relaunched. That is why it is so significant that France, the first country in G7 to do so, has taken this step in coordination with Saudi Arabia, which is a major power in the Middle East. So that through this initiative, new commitments can be made and new momentum can begin. A number of European countries, Western countries, have already in the past expressed their intentions to recognize the state of Palestine at some point in the process leading up to this two-state solution. Some of them have already hinted at the fact that they might follow France's example, and that in September we would have discussions over the course of 2 days. And the goal of those 2 days of discussions is to convince our colleagues who are still on the fence that the best time to contribute to this process would be the early stages. And so it is the time now for France and other countries to reject fatalism and to make a decision accompanied by commitments made by the Palestinian Authority and Arab countries for the security of Israel to prevent the worst from happening.
My French is too poor, so I will answer in English. So on the first question, I think I can just reiterate the answer I gave to your colleague earlier, that for the kingdom, recognition is very much tied to the establishment of the Palestinian state, and we certainly hope that the clear consensus shown today, and which will be shown tomorrow as well, and the clear momentum towards establishing that Palestinian state can open the conversation about normalization, but it can only open, first, if the conflict in Gaza ends, if the suffering of the people of Gaza is alleviated, because there's no reason even, or no credibility to have a conversation about normalization with with constant death and suffering and destruction in Gaza. And then we have to talk about the establishment of the Palestinian state, and once that is achieved, then obviously we can talk about normalization. Look, you asked about Hamas. The kingdom's position has always been that the Palestinian Authority is the only that Fatah and the Palestinian Authority are the only legitimate, the PLO are the only legitimate representative of the Palestinian people, and that continues to be the case. And I think what we have seen today with this conference as well reinforces another core belief of the kingdom, the belief that diplomacy, not violence, are the path to conflict resolution and to peace. So from our perspective, the focus needs to be on dialogue, the focus needs to be on diplomacy, and we need to focus on those tools, not the tools of violence. And obviously we need to have one unified representative of the Palestinian people, and that is the Palestinian Authority, who have shown themselves not only a credible governor of Palestine, but also a credible interlocutory for Israel in progressing towards peace. And I would hope that we will all work to reinforce the Palestinian Authority and its capacity and capability. Thank you.
Thank you. Since we are running out of time, we'll take one last and quick question for Ahmed Al-Mahmoud, from Sky News Arabia.
Thank you. My question is for His Royal Highness. In your statement, in your opening statement, you called for the adoption of the outcome document, which would be a roadmap towards the two-state solution. Could you kindly inform us of the general framework of this document? The other part of my question regards the timeline for the recognition of the Palestinian state. Do you have a clear concept of this time frame? Thank you very much. Of course, the outcome document includes a number of details. It's based on the work of 18 working groups. They made intense efforts, tireless efforts. So I cannot really summarize the outcome document in this conference, as there is not enough time. As for the timeline for the recognition, for us, it should have happened years ago. But of course, anyone who can reach the truth at any time is something that we welcome. And I commend the courageous position of the President of France and the French Republic that indicated the intention to announce the recognition in September. There is ongoing dialogue with a number of European countries and Asian countries that have not yet recognized the State of Israel. 149 states do recognize. So the remaining countries are not that many. And dialogue is ongoing with these countries in order to reach that decision. We hear that the majority of other states are ready, or at least they're willing. But they are waiting for the right time, according to them. What we say to them is that the right time is now. We should not link the recognition of the State of Palestine to the Israeli veto. Those who believe that the two-state solution is the only viable solution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as most countries say, and those who recognize Israel, they should also now recognize Palestine. Non-recognition of Palestine in this critical phase would mean a rejection. No, I'm ready to look into another option, not the two-state solution. So those who are convinced that the only viable solution is the two-state solution, and those who have already recognized one of those countries, one of those states, they must now recognize this second state. Of course, there are certain issues that will be settled, that should be settled through negotiation between the State of Palestine and the State of Israel, and this is known to all. But this is not really a reason not to recognize the Palestinian state. This recognize enhances the capacity of the State of Palestine to negotiate with Israel. And also, this would undermine attempts in Israel by certain extremists and unfortunately by certain officials of the government at the moment, undermine the idea that there is an alternative solution. This is why we're engaged with our friends in France, and I commend not only the French role, but also I commend working on putting forward the arguments behind this recognition so other countries can follow suit.
Your Highness, thank you very much, Monsieur le Ministre.